Hey everybody, Joe Haygood here, and we're going to be taking a look at the newest release on PlayStation 4, also on PC, and on Vita. If you're buying it on PS4, you do get a crossplay, and that would be Day of the Tentacle Remastered. Just as a sidestep here, or look back, not many it's a game that's been kind of out of print, out of existence for a while. Not in the sense of being forgotten. People remember the game. It came out in 1993. It was a LucasArts game. It is famous for Tim Schafer being one of his big projects, along with Monkey Island. Basically, I guess he got asked what he wanted to do. He wanted to make a sequel to Maniac Mansion. And Day of the Tentacle was that sequel. Problem is, the game's been out of print forever. Unless you have the copy of the CD-ROM from 1993. It's never really been sold anywhere else. So no real way to play it. And even if you do, like in the bedroom on my CD rack, I have a copy of the game. But it's very difficult to get it to run. Anyways, premise is, like I said, it's a sequel to the Maniac Mansion, which there is a place in the original PC release where you could find a full playable copy of Maniac Mansion in Day of the Tentacle. I'm not going to spoil where it's at or how to get to it. Because number one, I'm not sure if it's in there, in the remake, or the remaster. But if it is, just be on the lookout for it. It's kind of hidden, but if you kind of search around and think of a way that you might have used that game, or found a way to play that game, kind of a hint, is how you can find it.
I feel like I could.
Now, basically, if you're unfamiliar with the game, you have Purple Tentacle here, drinks some polluted water, sprouts some arms, and becomes a bit psychotic and unstable, and finds a way to manipulate time, changing everything we know.
Look, Hogie, it's a hamster. Just what I need for dissection lab tomorrow.
I think I need that with a band.
So, the game focuses on 3 different characters. You play as one of them at any different points in time in the game. You have Bernard, voiced by Les Nessman of WKRP and Cincinnati fame. I'm not sure if anybody that's under 35 knows that reference. But you also have Hogie, the large man on the right, and Laverne, the bulging eyeball lady to the left. Anyways, looking at this right here, you can see that the art style is pretty clean. If we take a look at it, that's the original art, which if you tap the touchpad, it will switch you between the two. You can see the old gritty, kind of rough, anti-alicized graphics. But it's a very clean transition. I heard they had to redo a lot of the cells because they didn't, they didn't have the game wasn't, what's the words that I'm looking for here? Like they didn't have the originals for it, and it was very difficult to kind of switch over. And but as you can see, just between the two, it is a nice, clean remaster between the two. The animation looks smooth. They did use the original. I guess they did find the original tracks for the recordings, the raw audio files. So that's why they were able to clean it up and make it sound nice. That's my understanding, but again, I could be wrong. But the key to this is it's a really, really solid, funny adventure game based on the Scum VM adventure games text parser that they use, basically where LucasArts used for most of their games, where the top half of the screen would be your graphics. Bottom half of the screen, you'd have this black area with all these key phrases in it. You know, give, take, use, pull, push, you know, a lot of common phrases. And basically you'd select from that to do things in the game. It was pretty intuitive. They were the first ones to kind of really hit on that, and then you had, you know, the Sierras and whatnot of the world got into the, you know, the point and click instead of using the cumbersome text parser where you kind of had to guess the words, putting them together, how people would have, how the developer
What are we looking
thought about
for?
combining words together to get to the meaning of what they wanted,
This better not take too long.
or what they were trying to say.
I've got
Anyways,
final tomorrow.
so you have your three characters here, and the game switches between each of them at different times, depending on where you need to be, or where you're at in the plot. So again, let's kind of switch between the two, and you can see how
Where's his secret lab?
See, here's your original, where, again, you had the graphics at the top, you have your inventory, and then you had your Scum system where you would click on the words that you would want to use, and that's kind of how you would, whereas now, it kind of, see, your inventory is now triangle, and then you get kind of a radial menu of what you can do instead of having to, you know, worry about, oh, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Anyways, let's go. Uh-huh. Well, you know we want the dime. Let's see. Picture. Let's see if we can get this gum.
It's stuck to the floor.
No. No, I don't want to do that. I do want that flyer, though. Who doesn't need a... I'm trying to remember if I remember all this stuff. Now, forgive me just for a quick second. I'm going to go grab a drink. Sorry, I need to make sure my throat stays quenched. As a nod to LucasArts, you see the Darth Vader calendar in the corner. Excuse me. Let's see. Uh-huh. Okay. A safe, huh? Well, we'll take that. Well, we'll take that too. The key to a good adventure game, making sure you take everything you can find.
Wow, it's from my favorite movie. Boy, the Edisons are a spectacularly ugly family.
Let's see.
The Chicago Manual of Thermodynamic Flux Induction Circuit Design. Great stuff.
Itchy.
Gee, Dr. Fred doesn't have a penny.
Alright. Let's get to... So we're going to get to meet a kind of a crazy guy here in a second.
There's something funny about that clock. Aha! A secret passage. This is all too easy.
Trophy. So, and now as you can see, as I was showing you,
How'd you get up,
you
Scott?
switch over perspective.
Am I upstairs? I got lost.
Seen any tentacles?
What's a tentacle?
I forget who we are next.
Something I whisked up in my spare time. Made good pets, actually. Until one of them tried to take over the world. Had to tie the little buggers up in the basement.
Good thing you told us that.
Yeah, Bernard wanted us to set them free.
Thank God you weren't that stupid.
Oh, man.
Okay, you're free to go.
Thanks, Bernard. Yes, thank you, naive human.
Uh-oh.
I can finish taking...
Bernard is not the smartest guy in the world.
Wait!
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. He's incredibly evil, isn't he?
I'll try to talk him out of it.
Well, what possible harm could one insane mutant tentacle do?
Leaping lab rat.
Dr. Fred.
What have you done?
What could one tentacle do? Well,
Now, Purple Tentacle.
let's find out what one tentacle could do, shall we?
Powers to take over the world and enslave all humanity.
Whoops.
Our only hope now is to turn off my sludge-o-matic machine and prevent the toxic mutagen from entering the river.
Isn't
The
it
art
evil
style
like
is,
that,
they
Doctor?
really did a good job. Like I said, when you compare between the two, they did a fantastic job cleaning this up, kind of stretching the scenes. It still has a nice, it's got a very nice, clean look to it, but it still stays very, very, consistent with the original ideology that was, with the artists and everybody, with Tim Schafer on down when they created this game.
Of course not. This is the first
But it is a miracle to know that this game actually, finally, is out and playable for a new generation of players. So essentially, he's sending you back in time,
I'll be.
or into different spots in time.
Bernard, float over here so I can punch you.
This must be that Woodstock place Mom and Dad are always talking about.
What could it all
The idea is that Purple Tentacle is going to try to change history.
We may not live to see yesterday.
I'm sure Dr. Fred wouldn't have done this if it weren't safe.
After all, he is a the doctor.
It worked! I can't believe it! And they said imitation diamond wasn't good enough.
Famous
Uh,
last words. So you have your past. You have what looks to be the future. And Bernard somehow ends up in the current.
cheap mail order jewel.
What happened to Hogie and Laverne?
I knew I should have bought a real diamond.
Are they alive?
And I'll say that the
Time
last
traveling with
one
imitation
is
diamonds.
200 years
Never a
in the
good
past,
scene.
And the other is stuck 200 years in the future.
Well, hurry up and bring them back.
I will, as soon as I get the
Yeah,
new
it's
diamond.
also to
Then
note that the
nobody
original
can
was a
do
game that
legendary
it was one of the it was
chronogon.
probably in the first year or two run of when CD-ROMs kind of were starting to become a thing and for sale at a reasonable price. Good example is I got my first one speed, that's right, 1X CD-ROM drive, and it was, oh gosh, it was like a Sound Blaster combo, because it was a Creative Labs drive and it came with a Sound Blaster 16, and I think the combo together was like $300, $350 for a one-speed CD-ROM drive, and it came with like some stupid encyclopedia, although we were, we were all blown away and amazed by it, because it had like audio files and, video files and picture files in there, and it was crazy to think of all this stuff that was in there.